is that I'm still having here the small file that I started with. What you need to look at is that you, under the massing and site, you will have what you need. You have here parking components, you have site components, and then you have property line, you have a topography surface, and other items that if you're dealing with modeling and massing, you can convert the vertical elements to walls and the horizontal mass to floors, and you can create these things. But it's not our, because we're not working in modeling or converting some masses to actual building using these icons. But what I need to focus on here is that you have you are having something called site component, and you have, this is what is uploaded. You have here that is a furniture, piece of furniture, and you can go to load family, and you can upload, you can look up what is available in the library, and load whatever you want to your building. So that if I go in what I have it saved in Revit 18 libraries, US metric, and you have several things here. You have furniture, and you do have what else we want to show. You have site, parking. You will have several items like this to show you the directions and parking lots, how the shape and marking and other things like this. But you can use those, and you have here. These are things that are specialized in connections and other things like that. Of course, you're welcome to do something like this. However, it's going to be more than what is needed in our assignment. So these are also other things that can be used in site. So that you have here those. And I think there is an icon or a folder for planting, so that you have these kind of trees that you can also pick and insert into your drawing. I think Entourage won't help us much. These are some kind of figures in addition to. If we want to have, so that here you have lots of things that you can use in your site. But focus on the site folder here because those what will include what you need in your design. You have also what else we can look at here. So that these are the elements that you can insert and start to design around your building. And if you include that, it will be shown in here. So that as you see that the drop down here just included those. But if I just come here and let's say include one of the elements. So I come here and included this. It's going to upgrade because it's 218 and 200 to 2021. And let's see for now. So that it appears in here. And if I go back to the same icon and I say site component, it will be shown in here with different types so that you can pick what and of course you can scale it down for sure. After placing it, you can scale it down or pick whatever fits your, or you can edit the type as well for it in here so that you can get to the dimension of it and then adjust what you want to have, like the height here, and you can adjust the dimension of it, or after placing it, you can adjust the dimension. So these are regarding the planting. If I want to talk about the platform of the building, because if you do have curves around your building and you want to give it some hatching, you still, I think the best option for you is that you will go to make a floor around your building, so that you have to of course adjust the level of it, so that if you build a floor like this around your building and you adjust the height, for sure we've talked about this several times, but no need to tackle, just giving you the concept in here, and you can this will give you overlapping because I'm doing it at the 0 floor level. But anyway, if you put that, and pay attention that I'm working on site, I'm not working on level floor plans, I'm working on site because that is the site that I have. If you are here, if you build this, you would see that the floor is overlapping with the other floor, so that you better make the arrangement so that you can go a little bit down compared to the floor that you have, because we already built the floor here inside the building, and we build another floor, as you can see from here, they are overlapping, so that it gives you a warning. So that if you want to do the same levels, what you can do is just to make a cavity in the building, so that you can come to the premises of the building and make a hole in it like this, so that you pick that and you edit this, so that you add a set point with the boundary. You can come here and start to initiate also the other internal element like this and hit OK, so that you are subtracting that, so that they are not overlapped with the inner building, so that you see that this is surrounding the building and the inner slab is still neat and with no overlapping, because to eliminate the warning that we have seen in the beginning. The reason I said so is that because if you want to now build your green area or build some tiling, you cannot do this unless you're having a floor, and the way to do it is just to create a slab and then to start to add to it the elements that you want to have, so that if you are having, for instance, green area here, you can build another, create a hole similarly to what we did, create a hole in that, and then add another slab in between, so that you can go with the boundary. And suppose I want to have a greenery in this location. I'm just working in concept, I'm not designing anything, I'm just showing you how to do things clearly here, so that if you pick that, that means we are creating a hole here for the slab, and we cannot assign anything here, so that you can go and then create another slab, so that you go and create another slab, and maybe you can have it elevated a little bit or going down a little bit from that level, so that instead of having it attached to level 1, you go offset to negative something to imply that is a greenery or something like that, and then create a slab in it like this, so that because you want to assign two different materials to it, so that you want to have here a greenery and you want to have here maybe curves or tiling for outdoor tiles or something, so that by this you are creating two different levels. And of course, to have this done properly, you can, instead of having a line like that, you can create another element from it, because you want to imply the double lines of the curves. But of course, if your site plan is too small, you don't need to get into this detail, because you don't want to have, because if you have two parallel lines and those two parallel lines are very close to each other, they appear as if you're cutting through an element in here or cutting through a wall, so that no need to show this unless they are shown properly on the site. So this is what you need to focus on in order to have your plans or areas clearly identified. Also, if you want to do streets, what you can do is just you can come to here and then engrave what you want to do as street in here, and then add another layer to it, so that if I have that as a curve, what I can do is just I can come here. I'm just giving you ideas how to approach doing several layers with different materials, so that you can come here and you create your, of course, you have to create boundaries first, so that you can get to your tiling, if this is our tiling, and you edit the boundary of it, and then by creating maybe two strips in here that will express the streets, and of course those has to be done to scale and has to be done with the known dimension or width of the streets. So this is one, and of course they're overlapping here, so it gives me some wording, and you have to account for those, and you create another one parallel to it. Let me just do it as if they are embedded inside, so that you create that. And you create another one here. So I'm here engraving my streets in there, and then I will add a layer, build another wall in here, and build another layer in here, and then add the streets to it. So that I'm making premises for my green area, and then I'm making premises for my streets. And of course, those little ends has to be adjusted, so that you can instead of doing something like this, you have to make adjustment for your edges of your tiles, because the tiles here are overlap with the street. You don't want to see the tiles running in here. So that what you can do is just maybe you can end your. Let me just focus on this again. What we can do is just instead of doing this, you can end your line of this. You shift it up a little. and then build your streets outside the portion here, because the greenery is embedded in the tiles surface, so that you build it within the area. But here, maybe the street is outside, so that you don't need to build it side by side. You build it side by side, not to embed it inside the tile. So in here in the massing as well, so that you have parking component, and this is not loaded, so that you have to go and look for the parking. And as I showed you, you can okay, so it's in the, let's just look it up. I think it was in the site. Parking, and you pick what you want to have, and of course you can work with whatever item you have here. If you don't have double loaded, or you have single loaded like this, and you have a parking space, so that I can open it up and then load it to my site, and then start to put them side by side. And of course the size here also, I don't know, the building is maybe you have to adjust the proportion, adjust the dimension of your curve and your dimension, and of course you can extract this number from the standards that you have. And usually it's the parking lots is about 2 to 5, 2 multiplied by 5, 2 by 5, or a little bit more than that, maybe 2.5 or 3. You can see different parking dimensions. Yeah, if you go to IKEA, you see that the parking is big and dense, very small, and it used to be condensed and smaller, and you struggle getting the car in and getting the car out. And some other places they are overly designed. Yeah, you see that the space between the parking is too much, and sometimes they are getting very narrow. There are ranges, but sometimes you see that the dimensions or the proportion is very small and very tiny to fit cars in, especially with the bigger cars. So you have to fit in also the parking. And once we talk about the property line here is something you can make by sketching. Like if your building is just within premises of other elements, and this is your premises of your lot like this, so that you will come here and maybe adjust your land. Of course, I'm doing it tiny, but it has to be bigger than that in order to say that this is my actual land that I bought from the developer, from the government. And by hitting yes, you will see that it transformed to be that is your element that is around your land. You can this property line, you can pick it, and if you can property line in here, let's pick it. That property line is expressing your building, and of course you can insert in here a fixed point if you want to do to make that as a reference. As we said, that the inner dimension should be hidden, so that you can pick this and hide in view, so that you can hide this in as element. Do not make a category, because category will hide all of the elements, but you can hide intermediate one. For C also you can do it. B you can do it the same way, so that you will just be left with AC and 1, 3, because those express the boundaries of your building. We can have here spot coordinate. You can have a spot coordinate here to tell you where is your building measured to, so that you can have this as a fixed point to tell you where is the starting of your building, and you can put it here. Or once you construct the streets, you can put it in the street, because here it doesn't realize that there are anything. But once you get into something, you can put it, and that is the reference line. So that, for instance, if I do have, if I create a floor that represents my street like this, I can go to annotate and spot coordinate in here, so that I can say that the coordination, this is my coordinate. And of course you can, you don't need to show the lead, because it's just going to be a point in here that will tell you where is your building plot compared to this point. And of course you have to put some dimensions to relate at least the axes to this point, or to relate the building premises, which is the lot line, to it, so that you can as a constructor or as a builder can relate where is the building, so that you can come here and put some dimension to tell you what is the XY coordinate of this axis compared to this point, or the edge of the building compared to this. And of course when I say the edge of the building, I'm not talking about the slab that has the tiling in it, because this tile can be a common between two buildings. If you have another building here, you might have this tile common between them, but your building premises is expressed by this line in here, so that you have to measure the corner, put some dimension between the corner and this line vertically and horizontally, in order to show that for the surveyor or the edges of your building compared to a fixed line in reality. So this is what we want to have. Also, what you want to look at is that topography. If you have topography in your building, and pay attention that you have to stick aside, don't get into any level and initiate your topography, so that you can here have you can place any points. Here is our elevation is 0, so that I'm 0 from the edges, and from the elevated 0, so that I'm at the 0. I can create maybe several points here. Maybe create this. So this is explaining that on a surface that is 0, that form that is 0. If I expand this, let me expand it up to here. And if I can here, you see that this is my earth material, as you see from here. And of course, because I constructed at 0, it just it's aligned with the 0 level. You can just convert it a little bit if you want to. And this is according to your design and according to the nature of the land, for sure. If I want to adjust what I have, I can go to here and edit the surface. I have to pick it and then edit, and then I click on one of the points. And this point is, I want to make it as -1, so that it goes down as -1. By clicking on this, you see that it started to create another topography for me like this. But sometimes I want to increase the resolution. I want to have those appearing as several levels in here. So that what I can do is, if I hit yes, I can go to this little arrow in here, and it gives me some of the intervals. This is at intervals of the contour. This is at intervals of 5, so that's why the intermediate lines are not shown. If I make this as 0.1, then it will create some lines in between here, so that it will tell me that I have all of this as zeros, and then at the edge of my building there is a huge slope that comes to 1, as you would see here. Of course, you can play with this, and you can create your own topography, for sure. I still can come to here and edit the surface, and may not be visible in the view due to the clipping, and that is okay because of the clipping. As I showed you last time, the depth of your site has to be adjusted properly in order to show some stuff, because if you make points that are very low below the clipping level, it will not show properly. And I'll show you this in a minute again. So that if I come to here and I come to this point, I take it and I make this as -0.3. It will create another level for me. As you see here, it's going like that on the floor. But pay attention that you have to be careful that your building is not set on a slope like this, because otherwise your building is started to show as if it's flying. And because you see here, the slope here is very small, so that it's not shown. But once you have a slope in your building like this, your building will appear that as if it's leaving the ground. And in this case, you have to build the continuation of your building, so that, for instance, you'll have a basement that is exposed from one side and hidden from the other side. And to do this, if you want to go to the site, you can adjust what you want to have by maybe creating a pad of your building. Let me just cancel this and keep it like this, building pad in here, so that if it will create a surface like that in your building flat, in order to fit in your building, so that you can come into a topography. And this little video will show you how to do it, because you are having a similar to what we were just having before. I can expand this point. For instance, if I go to edit surface, and I have this point in here, and I inserted another point in here, I can place a point in there, and I say, let's make this as -1. and put it in here, because I still have this as one and this as one. It just showed to me that they are continuation, and you see that the topography started to create what it wants compared to what's in your mind. So that if I have, for instance, a building in this level, you can come and create the pad for your building so that it makes make an excavation, that the lower of the excavation is going to be flat, and then you can insert your building in here. So this is regarding the topography that we have. And of course, if you want to have, you can adjust the points as you go by taking these points and relocate them. You can do this. Or maybe insert more points if you want to. So that if I come to the topography here and I want to edit the surface and place point, and instead of 0, I will come to make it 0, and I add here, so that you see that because the point that we're in there is 0 and the point here is 0, so there's no point in making, or no idea making a point here. So that's why it expanded. If I do it like this, it's going to be expanded like that. And of course, I can come into the ones in the middle here, and each one of them is expressing a negative. I can show the, let's do this. I can show the contour label, so that I can come here and drag this, and it will show me those 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8. And of course, if you wanted to have points in the middle, you can create, you can adjust this for yourself. So if I come here and make edit, and again, just getting this annoying warning, place point, and let's make this as negative 1.1. And you see here it's going to adjust, because here it's just it adjusted to the points of the negative 0.1 that you're having, and it shifts the 0 as you see in here, so that I can come and place another zeros in here so that it creates those for me. Now, if you get inside here and create points, it's not going to work, because the outer line here is 0, so that what you're creating here as point is pointless, because they are not referring to anything. So these are how to make topography, and of course allocate it to make the slope clear in here, as you see. And you spot the elevation. If you do have elevation, this is 0. Of course, what I'm placing here, all of it is zeros. So that's why, because I did not make any elevation. But if you go here to the topography, it will catch up that there is change in elevation. Of course, when you build your slabs that imply tiles and imply the greenery and imply the street, you have to make them apart from each other, or level from each other. They cannot be the same level, because at the same time, if you have a street and you go into a curve, at least you will have 15 centimeter elevated this from that. So that you have to pay attention to these differences in levels. And of course, because this has to do with the drainage and water runoff and other things, so that you have to adjust this level and give it the mark here to tell you what is the level. And whenever we have stairs or ramps outside, you have to place this before the ramp and after the ramp, and this before the stair and after the stair to tell you how much elevation we would have in this. So that of course you can come and you can place some of the stairs outside by sketching in here if you want to have some stairs, or you want to create some ramps or something. Of course, the ramp is going to be the same as the stairs, but you have to adjust the slope of it, and you have to respect that the slope is for the ramp should respect the handicap for sure. If you are placing it outside, we have created the stairs, so that we need to show it again in here. Let me flip the manage, and you have, I think, line style. So this is the line. These are the set of lines that you show in the drop-down menu. What you can do here is that you can specify what you want to show. So that if you can create, of course, one, you can say new, and you can name it whatever you want. If I want to name it maybe sewage, and you have it as that, it's created for me. And then I come to the solid and put some of maybe dash dot for it, and of course keep it black, do not make colors in it. And of course the line projection, if you want to just adjust the line thickness, you can have it here, and then apply, and then okay. So that if I want to construct a detail line, I think architecture, yes, here. So it's created for me sewage line here, and I can adjust it however I want. I want to do different styles, because you will do different color lines that expresses maybe light current and expresses the sewage, that increases water feeders and other things. So that these lines should respect the street. It's not going to be below the building. So that this line, if I see it going like this, that tells me that there's something wrong for sure. Why? Because this line cannot be below the building. It has to be in an area that is exposed. So whenever any error, any problem, any leakage, any blockage, anything happening in that line, it can be exposed and checked. The feed that with manholes, which are the places where it gets accessibility to the lines, and you can create those by little boxes that are in here also by maybe detail line, and you can just do maybe we can just go to line here and create these 60 by 60 at least. Once that of course the line is green, you can adjust it as I showed you. Usually in each maybe 30 meters or something, you create one, so that you those are, if you're still confused about the function of those are where the fixer or the people who fix the items, if there's a problem here, they will get inside, because there will be pipe system. The pipe will stop here and start here if it's like drainage, and if it's light current or anything else, it's going to be continuous. But this is an access point for them to check whether there's a problem or something, especially the sewer system. The sewer system needs that, of course, because the pipes will start and end here and start again there, and then we'll have here a point where the water will come inside and then get outside if the slope is going in this direction, so that the water will flow in this direction and it comes in that manhole and then come outside from this. So that this is a checking point. It's needed, because if any problem happens, you cannot break, you cannot demolish the street here, portion of the street. You have to just get inside here and check whether there's a problem or not. So that those are vital, and it has to be at least 30 meters apart from each other, and whenever there is elbows in the street. So that, for instance, if this stops in here and started again going in that direction, you have to have a checkpoint here, which we call manhole, so that the man can get inside and check, and whenever there's elbows in it, you have to make that. So that you have to create these lines, and you create them apart from each other. You can name them here, or you can create a legend and put them there. So this is what you need to build. Also, in addition to the thing that you have, always keep them apart from each other. Usually they come close to the street, at the side of the street, and the street by itself is concave upward. You see that there is what do you call it, camber in the street cross section. It's going to be highest in the middle, and it goes down in the left and in the right, in order for the water to run off efficiently on the sides and then drain afterward. What we have is different a little, because sometimes we have these manholes in the middle, and the water will just be accumulated on them. Sometimes the government ban the drainage of the rain to the sewer system in order to not overload the sewer system with other things. But in general, the correct way, there are different things, but the correct way is that the street in the cross section here is the highest, and the lowest comes to the edges, so that whenever it rains, the water will run off to the sides, and you will have some holes on the curb in order to drain the water away from the streets. You're not asked to do something like this, but at least you show the lines with the manholes and then the feeder to the building, so that you have the line passing like this. Where is the connection to the building? So you have to run another line that connects to the building in here to express the feeder of water and light current and electricity, and then taking away the sewer system in something. And of course, you have to be smart in relating those to maybe wet area. If you have wet area, suppose I have wet area here, I will create a line that is going to the wet area or electrical room, you connect your current and electricity to it. If it does exist here, you can connect to this. So that these are things that maybe you can implement in your plan if you want to do it, attach it to the building, or maybe devote one of the rooms as mechanical or electrical room and attach your current